Okay. The human mind is a fragile, mushy, complex mess, capable of being corrupted and manipulated and having horrors the likes of which docile normies could never understand or know about, lodged deep within its wrinkly folds. Do not draw the wrong idea about this large, wrinkly, sloppy ball resting within your cranial skull, however, as this organ is pulsing with knowledge, experiences, thoughts and ideas, and unlimited creativity. It's amazing, this internal, fleshy, metaphorical data storage with all its communicative signals going off simultaneously and gracing you the ability to be more than, say, a husk, yet it can be so easily broken. This phenomena, as the name would dictate, is tagged and marked as mindbreak within the degenerative science catalogs and archives. Women and men from all forms of realms and countries and galaxies devoted to the study of degeneracy typically are pretty well acquainted with the conceptual anomaly that is mindbreak. Yet the overall sentiment is split. Many wars and unfortunate banter has occurred between the different science groups. Philosophers, chemists, researchers, and even archivists all have strong opinions naturally about the idea of typically a woman, though men can get mind broken too, through the action of getting smashed, plowed, railed, ran, banged, screwed, bred, and holstered, and straddled, and even slammed and clapped to the point of no return, seemingly exhausting the anime human to a point of complete lunacy. I'm not here to argue about this confoundingly and arbitrarily worn out and tiresome question concerning the moral justification of such a disdain-inducing action, but instead, I'm here to question how such a thing would even be possible. I took my books and notes and set off to find out. It was quite a dreary and gut-wrenching experience. I analyzed and tested different theoretical hypotheticals and documented different important observations and possibilities to consider. Concerning. Absolutely disheartening. This specimen was completely average in every sense, but after constant exposure to the SEGs, they became a delusional, numbed, obsessive, blank-minded shell of who they were. Why though? So it might be a small hint unconventional and, dare I say, absurd, but I assure you it makes perfect rational sense. You see, when all of this is happening, I've noted the male anime specimen regularly deposits the sticky, icky bone juice into the anime woman's meat chambers, copious amounts to the point of nausea, and it was this small observation that led me to believe that it is a toxic substance in high enough dosages, a neurotoxin targeting heavily the frontal lobe of the brain. One could argue mindbreak is due to overwhelming stimulation and weakened mental resilience due to seemingly unending forceful physical and mental trauma, but the goop being consistently added is a variable that cannot be overlooked, and I would argue it's the main culprit for why these creatures become so, for lack of a better word, far gone. Already in a state of restlessness and disarray from all the chemicals being pumped out of the brain due to the stimulative gesture they are being subjected to, all the while the toxic juice, while not appearing to be dangerous in small to moderate amounts, greatly affects the creature with the mentioned afflictions as time goes on. It is possible for toxins to seep into the skin and through to the bloodstream, eventually making their way up to the brain. And what is most curious is all the noted ailments are symptoms of neurotoxicity. This is what occurs when the frontal lobe especially is targeted. The frontal lobe is in the frontmost part of your brain, just behind the skull. This part of the brain is responsible for making you. It houses ideas, memory, creativity, voluntary muscle movements, logic and reasoning, social understanding, decision-making, attention span, and awareness, and things like that. I, for one, think it is simply too much of a precarious coincidence to assume that this SEG's juice isn't responsible for deteriorating and breaking a person's mind to the level of a subservient catalyst. Fortunately, it does not appear to be permanent, as it would seem that if the poisoned person is quarantined and isolated for enough time, it should wear away on its own. And as for the men are able to be mind broken, however, it's slightly different. And this is where it sort of gets a little bit tricky, as it would appear that rather than the intaking of certain liquids, they become mind broken through the secretion of that same liquid. Put simply, it would appear that men become mind broken after being, for lack of a better word, milked for various hours on end. Almost like the anime woman, but not quite. Still, this unexpected hidden vice is ghastly, and put simply, in rather bad taste. The lesson here is, make sure to engage in sensual, sock-wearing, spicy practices responsibly. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, theoretically, if you have watched this far, then you do enjoy my videos, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to become my fellow scientist, or what have you. Share this with anybody who you feel to spread my exceptional yet unconventional knowledge to. And to anybody who has watched this far, I have a question that you can answer in the comments section. Are neurotoxins hot? Think long and hard about it. And I'll be back to answer another question that even scientists can answer. Bye, my degenerates.